Robert Haddon wept as he addressed a New York City courtroom on Tuesday, the day he was sentenced to 20 years in prison for sexual abuse allegations against more than 200 women. Tears streamed down Robert Haddon's face as he addressed a New York City courtroom on Tuesday. The 64-year-old disgraced gynecologist was found guilty of sexually abusing dozens of patients over more than 2 decades, women who made themselves vulnerable to him and trusted him. District Judge Richard M. Berman saw fit to hand Haddon a 20-year sentence for what he called outrageous, horrific, beyond extraordinary, depraved sexual abuse, the likes of which he had never seen before that occurred between the late 1980s and 2012. Haddon rose after the ruling, having been allowed a brief opportunity to speak before being whisked away to prison. He told the room there was much he'd like to say, but his lawyers had advised him to keep his remarks short. "I'm very sorry for all the pain that I have caused," he choked out before succumbing to racking sobs. He lowered his head, sat, removed his glasses and wiped the moisture from his eyes. The abuse began in 1987, when Haddon worked for Columbia Presbyterian, which has since been rebranded New York Presbyterian. He also abused women at Columbia University Irving Medical Center and other prominent hospitals. Many of the women he abused came forward and described what happened to them. During the trial, "Robert Haddon is a sexual predator disguised in a white coat," said Emily Anderson, the pseudonym one woman went by when she spoke at the first stage of the sentencing trial last month. 4 women spoke in January during the initial trial. The prestige of the hospitals in which Haddon worked reportedly protected him and allowed him to groom his patients. Nurses would escort them into his private offices, which were decorated with pictures of his children, where he'd speak with them about their personal lives. When the chaperones had left, he'd start fondling them, probing their genitals with his bare fingers and would even put his mouth on them. Many were pregnant or had physical problems, making them vulnerable targets for the predator. Several of them had never been to other gynecologists and assumed that Haddon's behavior was professional and normal for the types of treatments he was providing. One of his victims was Evelyn Young. Haddon sexually assaulted her years ago when she was 7 months pregnant. Her husband is Andrew Young, who failed a Democratic presidential bid in 2020 and another for mayor of New York City in 2022. On Monday, Berman announced his intent to deliver the 20-year sentence, but Deirdre Vaughn Dornham complained that he was quadrupling the almost 5-year term suggested by federal guidelines for Haddon's crimes. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe our channel for more videos and press the bell icon button to get notification.